You did everything they said, smaller portions, more walks, even cutting out your favorite snacks. And yet the number on the scale doesn't move, or worse, it creeps up. It's frustrating. It makes you question whether weight loss is even possible after a certain age. But here's what most people don't realize. The rules change after 70. What worked before might not just fail now. It could actually be working against you. At this stage in life, your metabolism has slowed not just because of age, but because your body is conserving energy. It's smart. It adapts. If you reduce your calorie intake too much or stick with the same routines from your 50s, your body doesn't respond with weight loss. It responds with survival. It holds on to every calorie like it might be the last. You might also be losing muscle mass without noticing. It happens quietly, especially if strength training isn't part of your routine. Muscle burns more calories at rest than fat does. So when you lose muscle, your daily calorie needs drop too. The same bowl of oatmeal that once kept you slim now turns into extra weight over time. And yet no one warned you about this shift. Another hidden factor? Hormonal changes. As we age, hormones that regulate appetite, fat storage, and insulin sensitivity become less efficient. Cortisol, the stress hormone, tends to stay elevated longer. Insulin becomes less responsive. This means your body stores fat more easily, especially around the belly, and burns it more reluctantly. It's not your fault. It's biology. But knowing this changes everything. Then there's the emotional weight no one talks about. After 70, life slows down, routines shift, and sometimes so does our identity. Food can become comfort, celebration, or even company. You're not failing at discipline. You're trying to soothe something deeper, and that's human. So what do you do when your efforts feel invisible? You don't give up. You adapt. The key isn't to push harder. It's to get smarter. Rebuilding strength, focusing on nourishment over restriction, and honoring what your body is truly asking for can change the game. Because once you understand that your body isn't broken, it's just following a new set of rules, you stop blaming yourself. And from there, real change can begin. It sounds logical, even noble. Eating less by skipping meals, especially breakfast. I'm not that hungry in the morning anyway, you might tell yourself. Or maybe it's a habit you picked up to keep your blood sugar low or save calories. But what if this simple decision is silently working against your body? After 70, the way your metabolism functions changes dramatically. Skipping a meal, especially the first one of the day, signals your body to conserve energy instead of burn it. It's a survival response rooted deep in human biology. Your body, sensing food scarcity, slows everything down: digestion, calorie burn, even how efficiently your organs function. Instead of helping you lose weight, it traps you in a cycle of fatigue and fat retention. You might notice it without even realizing it. You skip breakfast, feel okay for a few hours, but then mid-afternoon hits and you're ravenous. That's not weakness. It's your body compensating. And usually when you do eat later, it's harder to control portions or make balanced choices. You crave carbs. You want comfort. And your blood sugar, after dropping low, spikes rapidly. This cycle isn't just exhausting. It promotes fat storage and increases the risk of insulin resistance. There's also the matter of muscle. At this age, protecting your lean mass is everything. When you go long hours without food, your body doesn't just burn fat, it may break down muscle for energy. Over time, this accelerates the loss of strength, balance, and independence. A skipped meal might seem harmless, but its long-term impact can be devastating. And then there's protein, something seniors often underconsume. Each meal is an opportunity to give your muscles the building blocks they desperately need. Missing a meal isn't just missing calories. It's missing crucial tools for repair, stability, and metabolism. Doctors see this often. Older adults eating less, thinking they're helping themselves, but actually triggering frailty, dizziness, and unexpected weight gain. And because it feels like you're being disciplined, it's hard to suspect that this habit might be the problem. But there's power in choosing nourishment over deprivation. A balanced breakfast with protein and fiber can actually wake up your metabolism, stabilize your mood, and prevent that 3 p.m. energy crash. It can help regulate your hormones, reduce cravings, and make your next meal easier to manage. When you stop skipping meals, especially as a strategy to lose weight, your body begins to trust you again. It stops holding on to fat like it's in danger. It starts working with you instead of against you. And often that's when the weight finally starts to move, quietly, gently, sustainably. You read the labels. You buy low-fat yogurt, whole grain bread, and those protein bars that claim to be made for active seniors. You swapped soda for juice, chips for granola, and always make sure to choose the healthier option on the menu. But somehow, your weight isn't budging. In fact, it might be going up. This is one of the most frustrating parts of aging and trying to eat right, because what's marketed as healthy often isn't healthy for you, especially after 70. Let's talk about the silent culprits first: sugar and sodium. Many processed foods that are labeled as light, low-fat, or heart-healthy compensate by adding sugar or salt to improve the taste. That flavored yogurt you have every morning, it might have as much sugar as a small dessert. The whole grain bread, often it's loaded with preservatives and sodium that cause water retention and bloating. Even juices, yes, even those labeled 100% natural, can cause blood sugar spikes that make it harder to burn fat efficiently. After 70, your body becomes more sensitive to these ingredients. Your insulin response slows down, which means sugar stays in your blood longer, leading to inflammation, fat storage, and energy crashes. And your kidneys? They're more vulnerable to high sodium, which increases blood pressure and bloating, making you feel and look heavier, even if you're technically eating less. Then there's portion distortion. Health food still has calories. A handful of nuts becomes a bowl. A small smoothie is enough for two. Even olive oil, wonderful in moderation, can pack hundreds of calories into a salad if you're not careful. It's not about restriction, it's about awareness. But no one teaches this. The labels certainly don't. And the most painful part? You're trying. You're doing everything right, or at least you thought you were. That's what makes this feel so discouraging. But here's the truth. You've been misled. Not by yourself, but by the packaging, the trends, and sometimes even the professionals who never tailored advice for your age. There's something powerful in realizing that you don't need to eat less. You need to eat smarter. Whole foods, real ingredients, fewer barcodes. Meals you recognize, not formulas in a package. When your plate is filled with colorful vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and fiber-rich carbs in the right proportions, your body begins to recognize food as fuel again, not as a puzzle it needs to decode. And if this made you pause, if you've had a moment where you looked at a label and felt betrayed, tell me in the comments. You're not alone. We've all trusted a healthy choice that turned out to be the very thing holding us back. What was yours? You lace up your shoes every morning. You take that brisk walk around the block, maybe even twice. You've heard it all your life. Just keep moving. And walking is good. But if that's the only form of exercise in your routine, especially after 70, it might not be enough. In fact, it could be leaving you more tired, not less, and still stuck with stubborn weight. Here's the truth no one talks about. Cardio alone doesn't rebuild what aging naturally takes away. As we grow older, we lose muscle mass, about 1 to 2% every year after 50. And muscle isn't just about strength, it's your metabolism's engine. The less muscle you have, the fewer calories your body burns at rest. So even if you're walking every day, your body may still be slowing down from the inside out. Many older adults avoid strength training because they think it's too intense, too risky, or just not necessary. But doctors now say it's one of the most important parts of healthy aging. Strength training doesn't mean lifting heavy weights at a gym. It can be as simple as using resistance bands at home, doing chair squats, or light hand weights a few times a week. These small efforts rebuild the muscle that protects your joints, balances your blood sugar, and, yes, burns fat even while you sleep. When you focus only on cardio, you also miss out on the hormonal benefits of resistance training. Strength work helps reduce cortisol, the stress hormone that encourages belly fat. It also boosts growth hormone and testosterone, which play critical roles in maintaining lean mass and energy levels. Walking keeps your heart healthy. Strength keeps your metabolism alive. And here's something else to consider. Cardio done without fuel, like fasted walking after skipping breakfast, can leave you depleted. Especially in older bodies, this can lead to dizziness, fatigue, and even injury. It's not a sign that you're getting older. It's a sign that your body needs support, not strain. Imagine this, a routine that leaves you feeling stronger, not drained, where you can lift a bag of groceries with ease, get up from the couch without help, and feel your clothes fitting differently, not because you're starving, but because you're building. This is what real progress looks like after 70. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what actually works. And if you've ever ended a walk feeling exhausted instead of energized, it might not be your age. It might be time to try something new, something that gives back instead of taking away. It sounds reasonable enough. Drink when you're thirsty. After all, your body knows what it needs, right? But here's the problem. After 70, that natural signal weakens. By the time you feel thirsty, your body may already be dehydrated. And when it comes to weight loss, digestion, and energy, dehydration is a quiet enemy. Water plays a crucial role in almost every process tied to weight regulation. It helps digest food, absorb nutrients, flush out waste, and regulate body temperature. Without enough of it, your metabolism slows down. Fat burns less efficiently. Toxins linger longer. And hunger? It becomes confusing. Many people mistake thirst for hunger and end up eating when what they really need is a glass of water. Seniors are especially vulnerable to this cycle. The kidneys, which filter toxins and balance fluids, become less efficient with age. Less water in your system means those organs work harder, and that can lead to fatigue, fogginess, and slower fat burning. What's worse, many medications commonly prescribed after 70, like blood pressure meds or diuretics, can actually increase fluid loss. You might be thinking, but I don't feel dehydrated. That's the trap. Chronic mild dehydration doesn't always feel dramatic. It creeps in as dry mouth, constipation, aching joints, or bloating. It shows up as fatigue or even mild confusion, symptoms too easily dismissed as just getting older. And then there's digestion. Without enough water, your body struggles to move food efficiently through your gut. That leads to bloating, constipation, and sluggishness. All things that can mimic weight gain or discourage physical activity. A simple increase in water can make digestion smoother, nutrient absorption better, and energy levels noticeably higher. But how much water is enough? There's no perfect number, especially since hydration needs vary by weight, activity, and medication. But a good rule of thumb is to sip throughout the day, not just chug at meals, and don't rely on thirst alone. Look for signs: darker urine, dry lips, or low energy. Herbal teas, broths, and water-rich foods like cucumbers or melons can also count. Many seniors avoid water late in the day to prevent nighttime trips to the bathroom, which is understandable. But that leads to a day's worth of underhydration. A better approach is to front-load hydration earlier in the day and taper off gently by evening. That way, your body gets what it needs without disrupting your sleep. You don't need to overhaul your routine. Just start with a glass of water when you wake up, another mid-morning, and one before each meal. These small shifts can have a surprisingly big impact, not just on your weight, but on how clearly you think and how deeply you sleep. Hydration isn't a bonus after 70. It's a necessity. And sometimes what feels like a stubborn plateau or constant fatigue isn't about eating less or moving more. It's simply about remembering to drink. It's 8 p.m. The house is quiet. Too quiet. You're not hungry, not really, but you open the fridge anyway. A piece of cheese, a spoon of ice cream, maybe a little more than you meant. It's not about the food. It's about the silence, the feeling, the memory of someone who used to sit at the other end of the table. After 70, food often becomes more than fuel. It becomes company, celebration, distraction, and sometimes a quiet form of self-soothing. The emotional weight we carry, loss, loneliness, change, doesn't just live in the heart. It finds its way onto our plates too, but no one warns you about this kind of hunger. Doctors talk about portion control and cholesterol. Family members encourage salads and walks, but who talks about the meals you eat because the silence feels too heavy? Who explains that food can fill a moment of sadness, even when it can't fill the absence that caused it? Emotional eating is not a weakness. It's a signal. Your body is trying to care for you in the only way it knows how: comfort. It remembers that bite of cake shared on a birthday, that soup you made every winter, that snack you always had after your afternoon shows. It's not just food, it's memory, safety, identity. But here's the quiet danger. Emotional eating creates a loop. You feel a pang, emotional, not physical. You eat. For a moment, you feel better. Then guilt creeps in. The weight doesn't drop. You tell yourself you've failed. And the next time that pang returns, food becomes the solution again. The cycle repeats, not because you're broken, but because no one helped you break it gently. The key isn't to remove food as comfort, it's to add new sources of comfort. New routines that bring meaning: a short walk with a neighbor, a phone call with someone who listens, journaling, gardening, singing to the radio. A routine that feeds your heart, not just your stomach. And yes, sometimes it's about eating differently too. When you balance your meals with protein, healthy fats, and fiber, your body stays satisfied longer, blood sugar stabilizes, emotional cravings lose their edge, but that only works when you address the root of the hunger, not just the symptom. It's okay to grieve, to feel, to miss. Those emotions are part of being human, but food doesn't have to carry all that weight alone. When you start listening not just to your stomach but to your heart, your body begins to respond. Not with rapid weight loss, but with gentler energy, clearer moods, and fewer binges you don't understand. Because sometimes healing your weight means first healing your loneliness. It starts small: a cookie with your afternoon tea, a scoop of jam on toast, maybe a little honey in your oatmeal. None of it feels excessive. After all, you're not eating cake every day, just tiny indulgences. But after 70, your body no longer treats sugar the way it used to. In fact, those small daily choices may be quietly working against your health in a big way. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to sugar. Your insulin, the hormone that helps manage blood sugar, doesn't work as efficiently. It takes longer to respond, and when it finally does, it often overcompensates. This creates a roller coaster effect, sudden spikes followed by crashes. You feel tired, irritable, and oddly hungry even after you've just eaten. And sugar is sneaky. It's not just in desserts. It hides in healthy places: fruit yogurts, crackers, pasta sauce, salad dressings, and yes, even in your morning cereal or natural juice. A food labeled low fat often means high in sugar, and that sugar not only leads to fat storage, it makes it very difficult for your body to access and burn the fat it already has. Worse, sugar is addictive. It lights up the reward centers in your brain just like a drug. The more you eat, the more you crave. So even if your portions are small, the cycle continues. Your taste buds adjust, your insulin response worsens, and your body stores more fat, especially around the belly. And yet no one tells you this directly. Instead, you're offered sweet treats in retirement homes, handed candy by grandchildren, or reminded that you deserve it at your age. And you do. You deserve joy, but not at the cost of energy, sleep, joint health, or your goals. Reducing sugar isn't about punishment. It's about peace. Steady moods, better digestion, fewer cravings, and more mental clarity. It's about waking up with more energy, not fog. It's about stepping off the emotional roller coaster and giving your body what it truly needs. The shift doesn't have to be extreme. Start reading labels, even on items you never questioned. Choose plain yogurt and add your own fruit. Swap sweet juices for infused water with cucumber or mint. Keep a little dark chocolate if you need a moment of pleasure. Just not 5. And here's something beautiful. As your sugar intake drops, your taste buds reset. Suddenly, a strawberry tastes intensely sweet. A roasted carrot feels like a treat. Your cravings begin to match your goals. Not because you're forcing yourself, but because your body starts trusting that it no longer needs to chase the next high. The sugar trap isn't about indulgence. It's about habit, culture, and hidden ingredients. But once you see it, you can step around it and feel lighter, clearer, and more in control than you have in years. You've seen the ads, bright bottles with bold claims, melt fat fast, flush out toxins, boost metabolism instantly. And maybe, like many others, you've bought one or several, hoping this would finally be the thing that makes the weight budge. But here's what doctors are saying now. Many of these popular supplements not only fail to deliver, they may be quietly harming you. After 70, your liver and kidneys don't process substances the way they used to. These organs filter everything you consume, including every pill, powder, and tea marketed as a miracle. When you take a fat burner or detox product, you're not just swallowing promises, you're placing extra strain on the very organs that keep you alive and well. Most of these products rely on caffeine, diuretics, or laxatives. They might make the scale dip temporarily by flushing out water or speeding up bowel movements. But it's not real fat loss. It's dehydration and stress on your system. And once you stop taking them, the weight comes back, often with more exhaustion, bloating, or even irregular heart rhythms. Then there's the issue of interactions. Many seniors take medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, or other chronic conditions. Certain supplements, especially those not regulated properly, can interfere with these drugs, making them less effective or dangerously strong. What's worse, labels don't always tell the full story. Ingredients can be hidden behind words like proprietary blend, leaving you guessing. And it's not just about the body. Emotionally, these products tap into a powerful vulnerability, the hope for quick results. After trying so hard, eating better, moving more, cutting back, it's tempting to believe that one more pill could unlock the results you've been chasing. But when it doesn't work, you're left with more than just disappointment. You're left feeling defeated, like your body has failed again. But your body hasn't failed. The system has. Real support doesn't come in a bottle. It comes from habits, hydration, strength building, nourishing food, restful sleep. If you're going to take any supplement, let it be something your doctor recommends based on blood work or real deficiencies, vitamin D, B12, omega-3s. Not a mystery powder that promises a shortcut and delivers nothing but stress. It's okay to want help. It's human to look for solutions. But you deserve better than false hope and expensive distractions. Your body is wise. With the right care, it knows how to heal, how to shed what it doesn't need, and how to thrive, even now. Especially now. You wake up, make your coffee, go through your day, and try your best. You cook your meals, squeeze in your walks, and maybe even jot down your weight every few days. But something's missing. Motivation fades, questions pile up. You wonder if you're doing things right, but there's no one to ask. No one checking in. No one saying, hey, you're doing great. Weight loss after 70 is already a different game. Doing it alone makes it twice as hard. Not because you aren't strong or smart, but because humans are wired for connection. And that includes your health journey. When you're younger, there's often a built-in support system. Coworkers, kids, gym buddies. But as we age, that circle can shrink. Friends move away. Partners pass. Family gets busy. And without realizing it, many seniors begin trying to handle their wellness journey in silence. That silence becomes isolation. And isolation can feel heavier than any number on a scale. Doctors now recognize that loneliness impacts physical health almost as much as smoking or obesity. It affects your hormones, your sleep, even your digestion. And it chips away at something crucial: hope. Without encouragement, without someone to notice your progress, it's easy to lose faith that change is possible. Accountability doesn't have to mean joining a gym or attending meetings. Sometimes it's just having one person who listens. A neighbor you walk with once a week. A friend you text when you make a healthy choice. A grandchild who calls to ask what you had for lunch. These tiny connections create momentum, and momentum keeps you moving forward, even when motivation fades. Group support is powerful too. Whether it's an online community for seniors, a gentle fitness class at the local center, or a book club that shares healthy recipes, being part of something matters. It reminds you that you're not alone in this, that others struggle too, And that change doesn't have to be private, painful, or punishing. Even professional support, like a dietitian, physical therapist, or health coach, can be transformational, not because they have all the answers, but because they walk with you. They help you adapt your plan, celebrate your wins, and lift the weight of figuring it all out by yourself. You've carried so much through life. You've solved problems, cared for others, endured losses. But your health journey doesn't have to be another thing you carry alone. In fact, the weight starts to lift the moment you let someone in. You've probably heard it before. At your age, weight loss isn't really possible. Or worse, why bother now? These words can cling to your thoughts like heavy fog, making every effort feel pointless. But the truth is not that you're too old to lose weight. The truth is that most of the plans you've been offered are too old for you. Many seniors still follow diets and routines designed for younger bodies, low-calorie plans, long cardio sessions, or restrictive eating schedules. And when those don't work, the blame falls inward. I must be doing something wrong. But you're not the problem. The plan is. Your body is different now. It's more sensitive, more responsive to stress, slower to recover, but also quicker to rebel when it feels deprived. That means approaches based on deprivation, overexertion, or shame will not only fail, they will backfire. You might lose a little, then gain more. You might feel drained, not stronger. You might wonder if your body just isn't cooperating. But it is. It's protecting you from outdated methods that no longer serve you. A new plan honors where you are now. It focuses on strength, not size, on nourishment, not punishment. It recognizes that losing weight at 70 is less about shrinking and more about thriving, feeling lighter in your joints, clearer in your mind, more confident in your clothes, and more connected to your life. That new plan might include shorter but smarter movement, like resistance training that rebuilds lost muscle. It might center meals around real, satisfying food instead of calorie math. It might involve going to bed a little earlier, drinking more water before noon, or simply walking 5 minutes after each meal. Simple things, powerful results. And most of all, that new plan gives you space to forgive yourself, to accept that the path here was bumpy, and to begin again not with guilt, but with grace. You are not late. You are not stuck. You are just ready for something better. A plan that listens to your body instead of fighting it. A way of living that lets you feel proud every single day, not just because of what the scale says, but because of how you show up for yourself. So let's end with this. Which of these mistakes felt familiar? Which one made you pause? Tell me in the comments, because this is where change begins. Not in silence, but in community. You don't have to figure this out alone anymore.